Greetings, all praise the King. Today we are speaking of time as a weapon. Anyone that's incarcerated knows if your time is taken from you, so is your life. So incarceration is a form of injury. Now, this is used not only for prisoners, yet for those so-called free people. When you wait to speak with somebody for a service, you are wasting your time. If you were to call the same company 10 or 20 so years ago, you would not waste as much time, because there was no automation, at least for example, whereas now these large corporations have eliminated the smaller ones and are using automation to replace jobs. And this automation shifts the power, from the individual consumer to the owners or shareholders. So that whereas it used to cost the owner to provide the service, it no longer costs the owner, because you are subject to the labor, which is the wasting time. If you are driving to work and you are in traffic, you are wasting time, most likely. It is difficult for one person to concentrate on two tasks at once. For who could hear two messages at the same time? So we are mostly able to concentrate on one task at a time. So if you're driving, and that should be the task you're concentrating on, unless you want to elevate your risk for an accident. Even if there's not time involved, for example, if you're given a traffic citation, you're having to pay, and that amount really equates to time, because it's a cost, and you could be using that resource for other endeavors in which you will now have to labor additionally for, hence the time. As a follower of Christ, adhering to the principles of the brethren of faith, even the martyrs in England, some of which had settled in this new found land. They were incarcerated for administering a word of the Bible. And it was an attempt to get those individuals to recant, to subject themselves to those, higher powers, the authority of the aggressor. And in doing so, their time was eliminated, which took away from their ability to publish their findings. And even though they still had managed to get their writings out, they were obstructed in many ways. So one may make the obvious assumption that there would be more writing from the brethren if the aggressor had not subjected them to this inhumanity. This is often used as a threat. We'll lock you up. We'll charge you. So not as only is it used as a weapon, but a physical weapon, yet also a psychological weapon. And this causing injury as well. Much of the goal in this circumstance is to make people frustrated. Often if you push people far enough, they will say something or do something that then you can use against them and take more time away from them, this being the goal. The down-pressing world classes have the leisure to do with what they will with their time, whereas most of the 99.99% of the populations do not. And in some form, we, the underprivileged, are paying in. And when we pay in, we provide more time for our adversary to stay in the positions of power that keep us on the bottom, subservient to their cause, which is the cause of Satan. It is a weapon. People are under attack. There could be a structure of rule that provides for equity, and yet the structure is paid for by those aggressive forces to contain their wealth through power, which is a system of democracy. It's not a system that's run by the majority. It's run by a select few. Those are the ones that benefit. If you are seeking proof you could go and do a map. You could search to see, how these folks are living in comparison to the rest of the populations. In an honest person's view, this is sufficient enough. The new era of digital technology is providing for an advancement in the weaponry of the aggressive world down-pressing classes. And simply because these devices are accessed externally and manipulated to make your product not function, or to take more time in the process. For example, if you make documentary and you fly around, interview people to get to the root core of the problems causing the devastation and poverty. When you return to produce that document, you may find your computer doesn't work, or it's slow, or you're unable to finish your work because someone has externally manipulated your document and corrupted it. As time moves to the future, we will find that this capability is even more pronounced, because the advancement in the technology is enabling for more strength for the aggressive Satanists. And they are very similar to monkeys, because they enjoy causing mischief. This is what satanic people do. And so they have found a niche for them to cause this kind of mischief and be able to hide in secret, so that their activities are not commonly known. They operate in a way that even when they are caught, they're able to backtrack, and there's little defense for the victim. This is due to their structure of rule. They may fly a drone over your house and spy through your window at your wife in the shower. And there's very little you could do, because their structure enables them to do this and get away. Whereas if you try to do it, you'll get caught and you'll be given time or costs. Many of the sanctions that are placed on people are an effort to take their time. If there's a country that is advancing in development is projected to surpass that of the superficial development of the downpresser, then that country will be deemed a threat. Sanctions will be placed upon it to take away from its ability to outproduce. We on the bottom can prevail. We have the power to win, depending on how we use our time. Because the aggressive downpresser is mostly interested in his own personal satisfaction, that he is looking to get off at the expense of others. And because of this, he utilizes most of his time seeking pleasure. Therefore, he is unable to perfect the work of I weigh. Within himself. I weigh perfect always, and yet as flesh and blood, mankind falls short. And so it is mankind's duty to strive for perfection through the work of the Master, because that is the only way this is accomplished. And this is given freely through I Spirit. I Spirit, man chooses to resist in his disobedience because he seeks to be like a monkey. Even the man says he came from monkeys. Maybe he did, but I didn't. So we have a way to use our time effectively to promote I cause of I, Father. And even this shall not be denied.